Watching thick, dark industrial and domestic releases chalk the sky sends tremors through my body. I want to cry. Why is it becoming hotter and drier than it was when I was a kid? Smoke. Smoke everywhere. A poisonous air I breathe. My people succumb to various health complications. Birds of the air vanish. Acid rain on our Zambian land pours. The cause? Air pollution. Welcome to Our Environment, Our Future. My name is Ruth Benzo-Witola. Air pollution, one of humanity's greatest enemies. What is air pollution? What causes it? What are its effects? And how can we be part of the solution? Like water, air is life. Imagine something that is supposed to sustain life becoming the cause of death. Air pollution, a death trap.
Air pollution is the contamination of air by various substances that come from normal human activity or industrial, but they are in concentrations that make the air unfit for breathing.
Air pollution accounts for 1 in 8 deaths worldwide. According to the World Health Organization, it is the world's largest single environmental health risk, the cause of over 7 million deaths per year. In order to understand air pollution, we first need to understand the nature of the elements that cause it and where these elements come from.
The major sources of air pollution, of course, will start from domestic up to industrial. The major sources may be you're burning waste at home. There are some people, when they generate waste at home, they do not have a proper management system. By management, I mean it can be putting in a pit where you can bury, especially for the biodegradable, or maybe engaging a collection company which will take that waste to a disposal site. They will just burn the waste. And normally for domestic waste is mixed. You find that there are plastics in there, there's paper, there's wood, all sorts of things in the waste. And when you burn, it will release some gases. And most of those gases are dangerous because of what the paper is made of, or the plastic is made of, or the substances we are burning are made of. So therefore, rendering the gases that are coming from that waste dangerous. You may have sulfur dioxide, you may have oxides of nitrogen in general. You may have other particulate matter, including some small dust particles, which if somebody inhales, it may be dangerous. You may have substances of chemical nature like dioxins and furans, which may come from the burning of plastics, especially due to incomplete combustion. And those may be dangerous. And sometimes even the gas we know, like carbon monoxide, which may not be very friendly for our body. So if all these gases are combined and the person inhales, it becomes dangerous. So that is one source of pollution at domestic level, the burning of waste. Of course, it can also happen at a commercial or industrial level, where waste is not managed properly and it's burned. That is one source. The other source may be charcoal burning. As charcoal is being produced, it's done at a low temperature, and normally carbon dioxide will come out. That is also another dangerous source of pollution. So we go now to industrial and commercial activities through various processes. It may be smelting of metals. You want to, maybe as we produce copper, Zambia is a producing country in terms of copper. At a certain stage in the processing, they would want to purify the ore. So they will do the smelting. So the gases that will come out of that, one of them may be sulfur dioxide due to the type of the copper ore. So that is one source of contamination. Yeah. And then the other processes may be at commercial level due to the manufacture. They would want to burn things like coal as a source of energy. Maybe it can be a brewing company, it can be a steel company, or any other industrial facility. So as the gases come out, all those will be sources of pollution. Again, there's one important source that maybe we don't pay particular attention to, especially in our country and most of our developing nations, is from the vehicles we love so much. I know most of us who enjoy driving nice vehicles. Sometimes, in fact, should I say most of the times, the vehicles that we use in our country, most of them are aged. You find that they'll be 5 years, 10 years, even up to 20 years old. What emissions are coming from the automobiles? There are various sources of emissions. And those emissions are coming from the combustion, the burning of fuel in simple languages. So as we burn that fuel, the emissions will come out from there. And if the engine is very old and the type of fuel is not okay, then there will be a serious source of pollution. Sometimes you even get shocked when there's a smoking vehicle passing. These are common experiences that all of us share. A smoking vehicle, it will also disturb the visibility. The person following behind or others passing by, they won't even see properly where they're going because they will be engulfed in black smoke that coming from vehicles. And there are some times whereby you don't see the emission because it appears white and clear, but there are a lot of toxins in that smoke. So vehicles in our country are also a major source, especially in the urban areas, not so much in the rural, but in the urban areas.
Air pollution also occurs naturally, and this type we cannot control. However, of concern is air pollution that is human-caused. This we can do something about. In Zambia, air pollution is caused through the emissions of injurious smoke, chemicals, and particulate matter into the atmosphere. Much attention has been given to air pollution that is caused by mining industries. The rise of dust and films from open-pit mines, and the emissions of sulfur dioxide and particulate matter, which is locally referred to as center, have affected the locals in mining towns.
Mostly, umwelanga of more mine industries. Ulafuma kuno baita center. So center nga yafuma mine industries umwela leta especially ku school ya paramina ko pakalela kula baba na be school balaba disturbed nokusambira ko school bokola sana then abalwale fu balabwekera then kwa bana bakwa naba asthmatic so balakwata problem mostly kula bokubatela kuma hospitals.
By that time smelter le bomba nga bayisula acid plant kwale babantu kuba affected. But nowadays, Zopuba is Sadila plant at least.
We are at the state-of-the-art smelter at Inchanga. This was put up at a cost of about $400 million, and the plant was commissioned in 2008. And I'm very proud to say that this operation replaced the Nkana operations in Kitwe, which at the time of closure, had very low sulfur capture of as low as 37%. What we have now is a state-of-art technology that captures sulfur in excess of 99.6%. Apart from this investment, Vedanta, under KCM of course, has gone ahead to put up brand new concentrators at Konkola and at Inchanga. These two concentrators replace the old concentrators, which were old technology. So what we have are state-of-the-art concentrators that are very efficient. The technology that is employed is column flotation technology, and the plants are amazing. They cover a very small footprint, and they are completely zero discharge. We operate under the philosophy of zero discharge, zero harm, and zero waste. So you can evidently see that all these operations have been put in, and they are performing according to the legal standards in Zambia as well as the international benchmark.
The story of industrial air pollution in Zambia has been told many times. Little attention is, however, given to the everyday activities in our communities. For many Zambians, these practices are a way of life. Most are unaware of the dangers and effects they have on our environment and our health.
Air pollution has got several effects. Of course, one of them, and the most obvious to most of us, is that as the air is polluted and as you breathe, it will affect your lungs. Sometimes you can start coughing, sometimes you can get irritation on the throat, sometimes you can get sick. It is unpleasant to to breathe air which is polluted. So of course it will pose a challenge. It will reduce the visibility, and as it reduces the visibility, like I gave an example of a smoking vehicle, or indeed you burn a heap of waste, you see the smoke coming out and blocking almost the visibility. That pollution which is coming, it can be oxides of nitrogen, it can be sulfur dioxide, or indeed, like I mentioned, dioxins and furans. It may cause other diseases in our body.
For most people that have lived on the Coral Belt, the term silicosis is quite familiar. It's a disease of the chest as a result of the exposure mostly to dust or silica. It's a progressive condition of the chest that, unfortunately, for which there is no treatment. For most of the people that have had silicosis, we also find that the incidence of tuberculosis in those that have got silicosis is much higher, and that has been attested to worldwide, and especially in the Southern African mining communities. There are other pulmonary conditions or chest diseases. There are a few things that are already in place. One of them is the education that I think most companies, including Mapani, are giving to the workforce through posters, through other IEC material, over the internet, the computers. So most of that is to try and educate the employee. One of the major things that's also done is to ensure that the employee puts on their PPE when required, because now you may find, you may give a person the necessary PPE, but they may not put it on. PPE means the mask that they put on their faces, so that, again, the amount of dust that they're exposed to is lessened. The mining business is no longer the way it used to be, where the miner will be very, very close to the dust or close to the face of the wall. What is happening now is that there are a lot of remote control operations, so that the miner is at a distance. There are also other measures, including ensuring that there is water suppression on the dust or on the machinery, so that not too much dust is generated.
Concerned with the increase in air pollution, the government mandated the Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZEMA, to carry out certain measures in addressing air pollution.
I'll give an example of sulfur dioxide, or indeed maybe oxides of nitrogen. In science, we've learned that as the rains come and then they mix with that sulfur dioxide, it will produce acid rains. And when you look at most of our construction materials, it will start corroding the iron on the buildings. Even the building itself, we find that some walls, even some concrete, will start getting corroded because of that acid which is formed. So even the materials will start getting corroded. So other than just the acid rains, which will affect our vegetation, of course, rain will fall everywhere and our crops will get damaged. Even the buildings, the infrastructure will get damaged. We are guided by the Environmental Management Act as well as the Environmental Management Licensing Regulations. Of course, with various standards, guidelines that we use, others we've developed, others we've domesticated, because we know that ZEMA, we don't sit in isolation. We discuss with various scientists across the region, the world, so that we get the best practices. We learn from them, we share ideas. Yeah. So in terms of the way we manage is to use the law. We prohibit open air burning of any type of waste, because whether you burn leaves, plastics, paper, it's not right, because the gases which will come out of those materials are not good for our health. They're also not good even for the general environment. So all types of waste, and that is, I want to take advantage of this to inform the public that all types of waste must not be burned, because the gases which will come out are dangerous for everyone's health. So that is one way we prohibit, we criminalize. The law criminalizes open air burning. Even at industrial level, we ensure that they put in what we call pollution control technologies. Yeah, there are several. Just in a nutshell, I can talk about filters. Yeah, they can be electrostatic precipitators, bag filters, and other maybe wet scrubbers to ensure that the gas which comes out is cleaned, scrubbed or cleaned before it can go out. So we do license various facilities to ensure that what they are throwing into the environment or what they're emitting is of a less concentration that it cannot affect human beings and the environment in general. So by licensing the big polluters, by what I mean is the industry which discharges more, so that has to be regulated or licensed. That is one way we mitigate or manage. Secondly, at a small scale level, we prohibit all types of burning, because we know that that burning will have an adverse effects on the environment. We should manage our environment well so that we survive for this generation and we leave it better for the next generation. Because as we look at pollution issues, these have to start at individual level, at household level. So for every citizen of this beautiful country, my appeal is that you manage your waste at home properly. Do not burn your waste, because as you burn your waste, it will pollute the environment in terms of air, and you might get sick, your neighbor might get sick, which is not so good.
Air pollution. It is not only a nuisance and a threat to human health, it is a reminder that some of our most celebrated technological advancements have adverse impacts on the environment. The law is there to guide, but it is up to every individual, institution, and community to take up the responsibility of not polluting our air. Yes, it is your responsibility to protect our atmosphere. You have been watching Our Environment, Our Future. My name is Ruth Benzo Witola. Till next time, it's bye for now.